'Cause real men shave. Real men shave their faces. Real men shave their faces.
Good morning, Steve your Daily Shaver. This morning I answer the pressing question asked of me, and just let me read my notes. Chris asks of me, I got tough hair. He suffers from ingrowing hair, he's had a couple of shaves from a barber, and he's enjoyed particularly the last experience, and he's thinking of trying DE shaving. Where does he jump in? What does he buy? I expected some more comments to my video. Alas, not enough people read them. Not my fault. Hey, I'm only responsible for the content, not for the viewers. Okay, he's had some bad effects from ingrown hairs and pretty much does not like disposable razors. So he has found the happy medium, which is, a hard spot to find, a difficult spot to hit. He uses the depth gauge on his beard. Now, for first thing, you can be a member of Real Men Shave and use one of these and never touch a razor blade. In fact, I jokingly said, I don't care if you're a member of Real Men Shave and the only thing you shave once a year is your bum hair. Quite frankly, you don't have to shave to be a member. Over time, you may be encouraged to try a soap, you may be encouraged to try a different razor or a blade. Fine, you don't have to be a straight razor, stone honing shaver to be a member of Real Men Shave. If you've had 2 shaves from a barber, you qualify. So first of all, perfectly acceptable. And if you like that look, your girlfriend is the one that decides this. If she says to you, I'd love it if you were clean shaven, I'll tell you what, I have had a 30-second shave because I was going to get lucky. I bled all over the place, but I got lucky. The point is, when you're going to get lucky, you do what makes them happy. So if she's happy with this and you're happy with this, use this. Having said that, I'm not the shaving evangelist that some people think I am. I do like DE shaving. And I think that if you're careful in what you buy and how you buy it and who you buy it from, you can get a pretty good package, with quality products. So let's get started. This is what I'd buy if I was getting into wet shaving at the beginning. Okay, I'll come to the razor last. First thing I'd buy, and you've got lots of choices. The other one would be in contention, would be maybe something from Captain's Choice. I really like his bowls, but good old Fine. And the reason is it has a good handle, somewhere you can grip with your thumb, which when you're using wet, soapy things is not a bad idea. Also, this area here will cheerfully balance your brush. Okay, so double whammy. As far as I'm concerned, this helps you get good froth, broth and then lather, the 3 steps to getting a good shaving result. So the Fine brush, and I reckon if you're going to go for your first brush, just grab yourself a good high quality synthetic. This is a Razor Rock, but Italian Barber has got several different types. These have fantastic lofts and they're great leather moisters. Later on, maybe you want to go something fancier and you get what's called a razor or a brush or a soap acquisition disorder. That's fine. But begin with, for your first one, that is more than adequate. What soap to get? Dead easy. Italian Barber's Amici. Why? It's cheap. It also comes with, or you can order it with, their matching splash. Now this stuff smells like some of my more expensive soaps and splashes for a fraction of the price. I think this is about all of $3 odd US. And, the smell. A little bit sweet. Citrusy. Got some notes of barbershop. Very nice. This is probably one of my favourite buys. Particularly with the splash, it goes well. I don't think it'd offend anyone. I don't think if you got this and you smelled it for the first time, you'd be more amazed what you got for $3 than you'd be disappointed with the fact that it only cost you $3. Sometimes it's a little bit more. So take your brush, give it some moisture, and we'll get into the rest of, I'm just going to load up the bowl. So here we go. It doesn't take long to get a nice load on your brush, which is best in your bowl and not all over your bathroom. Now that was just a little bit of coconut oil. I stuck it in a container. I don't know, chemist or discount place, and I just bought some coconut oil. Coconut oil, as far as I'm concerned, is coconut oil. I don't know of extra virgin coconuts, you know. Who am I to say what they do in the tropics? I'm not one to judge. So there we go. Skin's prepped. Go and get myself some shaving cream. Now, you could have used the Parasso, which would have helped you get the minimum items you needed for the discount. So I'm all in favour of the first time you spend $1, you get extremely good value. This is more than a year's worth of shaving. And remember how much you spent going to a barber. And you can do it yourself at home. If you're after a cheap, but an extremely good, but a good cheap entry point, I would go one of the feather twister opens. These are $10 to $15, and they turn the wildest blade, tame it, and will probably be the best as an intro shave. That's probably where I'd go if I wanted to get started. This would be it, the feather from Japan. However, I've actually recommended this one into your build kit because you're gonna, this has got two sides. One's an open comb. Whoops, let me go that way. There's your open comb side, there's your bar side. So you actually have two styles of shaves that you can have. And it helps. It's on a fantastic OSS stainless steel handle. The cap's made of aluminium. Quite frankly, this is something that you can shave with your whole life and hand down to a son or a daughter. Yes, girls shave too. Now, I'm just shaving across here, and if you can see the lines of the open comb side, you can see it leaves a little bit of soap, which leaves a bit of glide on your skin. Now, over time, and I would suggest with whatever razor you picked, now there's a big price difference of about $60 between this and this. Both will shave you fantastic. I know from experience. Despite its lightness, that is actually a fantastic razor. The Japanese really know how to make stuff. But if you spend the extra and you get a good razor, you won't be hankering for another one 5 minutes later. And once you start getting things delivered, there's a tendency to take days off just so you can be there when things turn up at the door, and it can be a problem. They don't call it razor acquisition disorder. Now, ingrown hairs. I don't have any anymore, but I used to. In fact, most people have suffered, most men that shave have suffered from ingrown hairs. It's just the nature of shaving. Really nice. Now my hair grows in this direction, so for my second pass I'm going to be going against the grain, and for me my hair grows down on the cheek, so I'll be going against the grain that way, up and this way to try to do the most beard reduction. Now to begin with, you can stop here. Let me explain. When you're beginning shaving, you do not shave like I shave after a long period of time of experience, okay? To begin with, just be happy with getting it so close on a first pass and stop. Tomorrow, what you don't want when you've screwed up is if you've got razor burn under here, a little bit of blood, sometimes you get a pimple you don't realise is there until you shaved it, but you don't want to be cutting your face, you don't want to be getting razor burn on your neck. It's going to ruin your whole day. So you've got to what you call season your skin. It takes a little while, and you've got to get better at using your tools. These are all brand new tools. This is what you do with them. You practice, and once a day you practice. Most people would be happy with that shave. In fact, I could stop now, splash some water, I'd be done. In fact, I will splash some water, because one thing that people cheat themselves on is getting the extra moisture in between passes for glide. Hey, water's cheap, use it. Okay, second pass, for me this could be a cleanup pass. Now for me, a cleanup pass is the minimum I'd normally stop at, which is where I do a pass against the grain. The third pass for me is usually, and sometimes the third pass can be a bit here and a bit there, is what I would shave to now for BBS. But at the beginning, it's probably not at all smart for you to be shaving to BBS. Okay? This weighs a bit on this handle. Okay? You've got a weighty razor in your hand. I suggested a selection of about 40 blades, and I'll be doing a separate video on blades. My opinion on blades. But I suggest a selection. the blade that's right for me. Now, there's a consensus in the community, but that does not apply to everybody. Your face, your skin, your tolerance. Once you season your skin, your ability to then transition to other types of shaving, even more aggressive types of shaving, like a single edge or a start honing blades or whatever, it can turn into a bit of a hobby. Hence the community on YouTube with videos sharing their shaves. Now that is pretty good. That has definitely reduced my hair to the point that if I was going out for lunch, which I am, I'm about 6 hours behind today. I wake up at 3 a.m, had something to eat, and I don't know, read something online or whatever. I can't remember what I did at 3 a.m. I went to sleep about an hour or so later and slept until 10 o'clock. So my body clock is all out. Now for me, third pass is about getting BBS. And I love the scent of this. This is one of my favourite. Smells a lot like the more expensive Jolly Roger from Beaver Woodrite. But the Beaver Woodrite, if I can use the words, a little campier, a bit, a lot sweeter. I found leaving the cap off and letting it kind of aerate down to something a bit more tolerable was the way I went with the Jolly Roger. But other people smell it and they love it, just as is. I wanted something that smelt fantastic, but didn't, tickle your nose and make you sneeze. Now I'm going to swap around and use the blade, the bar side, and I will be doing my final cleanup. And for me, this is about getting BBS. When you start to shave, one of the things you'll be doing is and you can watch, if you go to Sharpologist's website, he's got a how to shave. Now for me, I'm going to shave to BBS because I'm Steve the Daily Shaver. And that's what I do. So I go around those difficult areas. If I'm going to get razor burn, it's just here, getting those hairs. So there's a few techniques. There's the neck crunch. Okay? There's the J hook. There's a bunch of different razor techniques you can have for getting the hairs. Some people have really difficult hair. Besides ingrown hairs, which is just the hairs that are sitting subcutaneous underneath the skin, you also have hairs that grow in patterns. The funniest I've seen, and you usually notice it on men that grow their beards down on their neck, is you can see these little swirly patterns in people's necks. Do you know how hard it'd be to shave a swirly pattern on the most sensitive part of your neck under here? It's one reason why pre-shave is such a good idea. And for me, I always have a little bit of fun getting this area just here for me, just right. So, done. Dusted. Fantastic. Post-shave, you can use your pre-shave Parasso that I suggested. Just wet your skin, right? Grab your Parasso, put it on. For me, I'm just going to go and use, where the hell is it? Where was the last place I put it? Good question. In my bathroom, you can lose things. You can probably lose a person in here now. The poor man's supermarket solution, Nivea. Right? You can use the Parasso. You can use some Nivea. This one's not the scentless one, so it's got a little bit of scent. Some people can't shave against the grain. If you've got sensitive facial conditions and you can't shave against the grain, don't. Okay, there's a simple rule. Until you can, don't. If you can only do half of something until you get used to it, do half. I mean, you're not getting judged. You're not like me and putting it up on YouTube where critics can really go, I don't know why you did it that way. Sometimes neither do I. Post-shave, the Amisi. This is a beautiful splash. Oh, weak at the knees at this one. Fantastic soap, fantastic. Oh, I don't know how he does it. I've got some others that smell similar. This one smells the best. Sweet, fresh. By the way, when you're putting a bit of splash around, put some on your shirt, on your clothes surface. Whereas a little bit you put on your clothes, that'll stay there all day. And this scent, oh wow, I could just, probably this scent and the Aramis. Wouldn't put them together. These two would not go well with this combination. But yesterday, sandalwood, fantastic with the Aramis. Just perfectamundo. I probably won't do anything else today, and that scent will linger all day. This is brilliant. If you can get some, get yourself some. Italian barber. 40 mixed blades as part of your kit. Some Parasso pre-shave. You can select the Parasso pre-post shave that you like. I picked the one with a bit of, because it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere where you are, I picked one with a bit of eucalyptus, which is refreshing, and a smidgen of menthol, which will be cooling. Great summer one. But during the winter, you may not want to use that. You just may want to use a scentless one, or you may have just picked up, you know, some cheap coconut oil and figure that'll do the trick. Some people say you don't need pre-shave. Some people you don't need post-shave. I like to use it both ways. For me, once you'll start looking after your skin and people don't know your age anymore because your skin's looking good, that's a sign you're doing something right. The Icon 101, I can't speak highly enough. It's about $70, $75 on the OSS handle. I prefer the OSS handle to the other, which is the bamboo. Dual cap. Selection of 40 blades, which I'll be talking about in my next video. Why you should try blades, what blades are better, and what blades are better for you. Now I hope I've answered Chris's questions about how to get himself a good shave, how to compete with the barber. The fact is, if you go to a barber, you're probably looking at $40 to $80 for, you know, half an hour of their time. I think I ballparked the figure at about $137 US. I'm not sure if that included postage, taking advantage of all the way you combined purchasing on the Italian Barber website. You would have enough here to shave pretty much every single day for about, blades, 4, 8, 12, 120. You've got at least, I'm going to go okay, let me revise that. You've got 3 to 6 months worth of kit here, right? Blades, you know, different blades will wear at different rates. Once a blade stops cutting smoothly and cleanly, sometimes you can flip it and get a couple more shaves at it, or you toss it. One of the tricks is when tossing a blade is some of them will come in these plastics. The blade will dispense from the top, but you can actually put your used blade in the bottom and dispense the new one from the top. This particular one, I don't know what it is because it's not got a label on it anymore. It's one that's only on the top, so it's empty, so I just use it to fill up. You can keep all your used blades in here. Just a good use of it. They tell you not to wipe your blades. Personally, I find taking your blade out after a shave, holding it and stropping with the grain, so if it's got the sharp edge here, just giving it a little clean up. Other people say don't do this. You can listen to them if you want. I cut myself a few times in the beginning. These things are bloody sharp, right? If you're stupid, and I was, and you mishandle one of these and you touch those edges in any way, you're going to get cut. I discovered that holding it by either side and using the old face washer, don't know what it's called in your neck of the woods, but that's what they're called here. That's what my nana called them when she had them. And go get the face washer, she'd say. Just get your blade out after a shave, nice and cool. Anti-rust, WD-40 will do the trick. Give it up. I wouldn't do this normally, but if you're going to be a little while sitting a blade somewhere, WD-40 it, and it will sit there for 3 months and come back as good as the day you left it. If you're going to be using it the next day, I would not be wasting WD-40 on it. WD-40 is a bit of petroleum and fish oil. I prefer something that's just fish oil because I don't think you need the petroleum component, but this is what I have since I used up my beautiful shaving spray. I stood in the shopping centre, racking my brain, knowing there was something I wanted from them down at the Shaver Hut in the Sunshine Coast, racking my brain. And do you think I could remember what it was I wanted? No, flippin' way. I tell you. So I'm still using the Pongy WD-40. Does the same job. It turns out when I was out in the garage, I'd gone and bought 2 or 3 of them over the years. So I just grabbed one for the bathroom. Does the trick. Best done with dry hands, not wet hands from your shave. Take your blade out and clean. You will have hairs and you will have crap. And it's a good idea to keep your cap clean. The whole point of this is to look after your gear, so it's good not only for you but for your son and his son. This gear is extremely high quality. And that's one reason why I recommend it over my other favourite, which is a very mild shaver. Let me show you. Let's just open up the barn doors on the feather. We'll drop that blade. Out of camera I just gave it a quick wipe. So there you go, it's dropped down in there. Close that up. Now that is a very smooth shaver. You can run that over your face, you barely feel it. You can put a feather, which is probably the sharpest blade that I own, and you can shave with this and you don't even know you're using a feather. This is also a good choice, $15. You can, if you're a bit on the wall and you want to really cut your costs down to $70, $80 for the order, get this. And if you decide later on that you want the 101, or maybe another one, maybe you decide you're going to go for above the tie or something premium, guaranteed you're going to end up with something good. And the vintage from Delta Echo or Razor Emporium, these are all good choices. Watch some of my videos. I love shaving with razors. Razor. This would be the way to go. I'm Stevie Daily Shaver. I hope I've answered all of Chris's questions. I do believe you should give it a go. If you want to save some money, grab one of these. It's the feather, okay, with the doors. Try your blades. Keep some notes on how many shaves you get out of blades. Remember, a blade can be flipped. So 1 shave, 2 shaves, 3rd shave, flip. Get 1 or 2 more shaves. If you get 6 shaves out of a blade, and the blade costs you less than 10 cents, I mean, that's a cheap week's shaving. And like I said, start off 1 pass. After a week, go up to 2 passes. 3rd week, start working on cleaning up difficult areas. You'll do the whole mapping your face, going against the grain, etc. By the time you've knocked off your first month, comment. Tell us what your experiences are. Anywhere along the way, you can ask the community questions. We'll try to help you out. We've all had your problems. If we haven't had your problems, no, we have. We've all had your problems. I'm Stevie Daily Shaver. Remember, good food, good friends, good shaves, amen. While it's nice to be important, it's more important to be nice. Sharing the knowledge for another generation. I'm Stevie Daily Shaver. Good shaves and the best of shaves, and goodbye.
Bearded man, you think that you're so cool, but your face looks like a small marsupial.